I want to start today with a bit of someone else's video. I will link the rest of it up in the Google Classroom. But before we get into what the book is going to show you, sometimes it's helpful to hear someone besides me. So here you go.
In this video, we are going to be covering multiplying fractions by a whole number. So as you can see, there are 4 problems on your screen. We're going to go through these 4 problems together, and hopefully by the end of the 4 problems you have this down. My suggestion would be to write these out with me, and if at any point you feel confident enough to try a couple on your own, feel free to press pause, and then when you're ready, press play and check the remaining problems with how I do those problems. If you want to do all 4 with me, that's fine as well. So let's jump right in to number 1. And we have 6 times 1/3.
So I am feeling pretty confident of 6 times 1/3. I hope you are as well. Because you can look at your 6 and you see, well, I could immediately divide my 6 into 3 equal pieces. When I divide 6 among 3 sections, there will be 2 in each section. How many of those sections am I taking? I'm just taking one section, so I only have those 2 pieces one time. This should equal 2. Now, he's going to show it to you the other way that we've talked about. Do you remember how you can show that there is one piece in each of your 6 whole things? That's how he's going to show you.
Whenever we're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, the first thing we want to do is take the whole number and make it into a fraction. And all you have to do for that is you need to put the whole number over 1. Now we have a numerator and a denominator. And then bring down the rest of your problem. So, when we multiply fractions, all we do is go straight across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 6 times 1 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. So we get to 6/3. Now that's an improper fraction, meaning the numerator or top number is greater than the denominator. So what we do is we divide the numerator by the denominator. So 6 divided by 3, and that's going to give us a whole number answer. So how many whole groups of 3 can we pull out of 6? And the answer to that is 2. Is there a remainder to that problem? No. So we are done. The answer is 2.
So you can see he and I came up with the same answer, but he did it by turning the whole number into a fraction, showing that if I have whole amounts, that means there's one piece in each. Then multiplying straight across, realizing that when he got done, the top was larger than the bottom. So top divided by bottom, this gave him his final answer. A couple of other things about this. If you had to find a number that you could multiply by 6, in order for the answer to be less than 6 but greater than 0, does 1/3 work? Well, first question, is 1/3 a number? Sure it is. It shows an amount. Second question, when you take 1/3 6 times, do you get an answer that is less than 6? Absolutely. Greater than 0? So anytime you want to multiply a whole amount but end up with less than the amount that you started with, you're multiplying by a fraction. The next one that he is going to show you, again, he will show you by turning the whole number into a fraction, which works beautifully. But in this case, we can also look and say, hey, wait a minute. 10 gets evenly split into 5 pieces. I can take my 10 and divide it among those 5 sections. There will again be 2 in each section. But this time I'm not just taking 2 from the one section, I'm taking 2 from the first section and 2 from the second section. So I'm taking those 2 pieces 2 times, which means my final answer will be 4. Here's the other way.
Now let's take a look at how the answer relates to our original problem. So we started with 6 times 1/3, and we ended up with an answer of 2. Now normally, when you multiply whole numbers, your answer is going to be greater than the numbers you started with. But since we multiplied by a number or a fraction less than 1 whole, our answer actually got smaller in value than the 6 that we started with. So even though we multiplied, our answer got smaller than what we started with because we multiplied by a number that was less than 1 whole. So let's take a look at number 2. And to go off what we were just talking about, we're multiplying 10 by 2/5, a number or fraction that's less than a whole. So our answer is actually going to be less than 10. So put your whole number over 1, bring everything else down, and now we multiply. 10 times 2 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. So we have an improper fraction here. We don't want to leave our answers as improper fractions, so we divide the numerator, the top number, by the denominator. So 20 divided by 5. How many whole groups of 5 can we pull out of 20? Well, 4. Any remainder or anything left over? No. So our final answer is 4. Let's go to number 3. 2/5 times, put 8 over 1, so we have a top and a bottom.
Now, why can't I show you this one the way I've been showing you the others? Well, if you look here, can I take 8 and divide it evenly among 5 sections? There's no way I can put... I need to add another section, don't I? There's no way I can put my 8 pieces equally among the 5. Here I've used up 5 pieces, but I have 3 more pieces to use up, and that's not going to be a very nice division problem. Which is why now the only way to do this is the way he is going to show you. To say, all right, but 8 is the same thing as 8 over 1. Multiply straight across. You will get an improper fraction, and you will have to simplify. Try this one before he shows it to you. See if you can get your answer to number 3. Now check it.
And then multiply straight across. 2 times 8, 16. And 5 times 1 is 5. Again, we have an improper fraction, so we need to do 16 divided by 5. How many whole groups of 5 can we pull out of 16? And the answer to that is 3. But we have 1 left over, right? 16 divided by 5, we get 3 with a remainder 1. So that remainder is a numerator here, and then we keep the denominator the same. So 3 and 1/5. Number 4, 2/7 times 11, put it over 1. 2 times 11 is 22. 7 times 1 is 7. So again, an improper fraction. So we need to do 22 divided by 7, which is 3. And we get a remainder 1 and keep the denominator the same. So 3 and 1/7. Again, we did 22 divided by 7 and got 3 wholes with a remainder 1 here, and we keep the denominator the same.
All right, so seeing how he did that, in your math book, turn to page 725. 725. And that, I think I'm going to put in the next video because that one takes up less memory. So, watch the next video after you turn to 725 in the book.